Some kids don't get to be kids. They get promoted. While other children were playing, they were keeping a household running, soothing a parent, raising a sibling, reading the mood of a room before they could read a book. And here's the strange part. The world rewards them for it. They grow up into the dependable one, the mature one, the one everyone leans on. Maybe you're the one in your family who turned out fine, the responsible one, the one who never seemed to need much. Hold that thought as we go, because a lot of what looks like being fine started as something else entirely. That early competence wasn't a gift, it was a job you were handed before you were ready and never got to put down. This is parentification. And if you were shaped by it, you probably don't see the next 10 habits as wounds at all. You see them as just who you are. That's exactly why they're so hard to spot. Parentification is what happens when the roles flip. When a child becomes the caregiver and the parent becomes the one who needs caring for. Sometimes it's emotional. You became your parent's therapist, their confidant, the one who managed their feelings. Sometimes it's practical. You cooked, you cleaned, you looked after younger siblings. Either way, you learned one lesson very early. Other people's needs come first, and it's your job to keep things from falling apart. You became competent before you were comforted, and it rarely looked dramatic. There's usually no single moment you can point to. It was just the slow, daily arrangement of a home where you were the steady one, so ordinary, so constant, that you mistook it for your personality. That's the thread running through everything that follows. Premature competence. You learn to carry weight so young that carrying it now just feels normal. So let's look at what that competence quietly turned into. Number 1. You become the calm one in every crisis. As a kid, you learned to go still when everything around you got loud. Panic was a luxury you couldn't afford because somebody had to hold it together, and that somebody was you. So now, you're the person everyone calls when it all goes wrong. You don't freeze, you handle it. Your hands are steady while everyone else shakes. A parent in hospital, a friend's breakdown at 2 a.m., a disaster at work. And there you are, voice level, making the calls, getting it done. But notice what happens after. You handle the crisis, and then you fall apart alone, later, where no one can see. Because no one ever taught you that someone could hold you too. So you became excellent in emergencies, and quietly starved of comfort in the ordinary moments in between. Number 2. You apologize for needing things. In your house, needs were inconvenient. There was already so much going on that asking for something felt like adding weight to a person already buckling under it. So you got small. You stopped asking. Now you say sorry before you ask for anything. Sorry to bother you. Sorry, this is probably stupid. You apologize for taking up space you're fully allowed to take up. You over-explain why you need a day off, as if rest required a defense. And the cost is quiet, but heavy. You've come to treat your own needs as a burden you're imposing on others. And a person who can't ask for anything slowly becomes a person no one knows how to support. Number 3. You read a room before you walk into it. You grew up scanning. One look at your parents' face told you which version of the evening you were about to get. Reading the room wasn't a skill, it was an early warning system. Now you do it everywhere, automatically. You walk into a room and instantly you know who's tense, who's off, who needs handling. You feel the temperature before anyone says a word. You clock the slight change in someone's tone, the tightness in a smile, and some part of you immediately starts managing it. Here's the cost. You're exhausted in spaces other people find relaxing. While they're just having dinner, you're running silent calculations on everyone's mood. You never get to simply be in a room. You're always working it. Number 4. You're deeply uncomfortable being taken care of. When you were young, care didn't reliably come, so you learned to generate it yourself. Self-sufficiency wasn't a choice. It was the only thing that felt safe. So now, when someone tries to take care of you, something in you flinches. You're sick, someone offers soup, and you feel a strange urge to say no, I'm fine, even when you're clearly not. You'll drop everything to help a friend move, but asking someone to help you feels almost physically wrong. And the cost is connection itself, because you've quietly confused being cared for with losing control. So you hold people at arm's length, and then wonder why you feel so alone in a room full of people who'd help if you let them. Number 5, you overfunction in every relationship. You were the one who kept things running. You remembered the appointments, smoothed the arguments, made sure everyone was okay. The family worked because you worked. Now you do it in friendships, at work, in love. You carry the mental load before anyone asks. You overgive, over-organize, over-deliver, because somewhere deep down, being needed feels like the price of being kept. You're the one with the shared calendar and the reminders, the one who notices the thing nobody else noticed needed doing. But here's what overfunctioning does. It trains the people around you to underfunction. You attract people who are happy to let you carry it all, and then you quietly resent doing the thing you never let anyone else do. Number 6, you feel responsible for other people's emotions. Your job growing up was emotional maintenance. If your parent was upset, the whole house tilted, so you learned to manage their feelings to keep yourself safe. Now, when someone near you is upset, you feel it land in your body like it's yours to fix. Their bad mood becomes your emergency. You can't relax until they're okay. A partner goes quiet, and you're already scanning back through the day for what you did, bracing to repair something that may not even be about you. And the cost is your own boundaries. You can no longer tell where other people's emotions end and yours begin. You absorb the whole room and lose track of what you actually feel underneath all of it. Number 7, you can't rest without guilt. Rest was never really available to you. There was always a sibling to watch, a parent to settle, a thing to handle. Stillness felt dangerous, like something was being neglected. So now, sitting still makes you itch. A free afternoon fills you with a low hum of anxiety, a feeling that you're forgetting something, that you should be doing more. Even on holiday, part of you is making lists. Rest feels less like peace and more like a task you're behind on. The cost shows up in your nervous system. You've never learned in your body that you're allowed to stop. So you run, productive, reliable, and tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. Number 8, you're the strong one, and no one ever checks on you. You were the easy child, low maintenance, mature for your age. The adults praised you for it, and that praise taught you that being okay was your role. Your struggles were inconvenient, so you hid them. Now, everyone assumes you've got it handled. You're the friend others bring their problems to, but rarely the one they think to ask about. And you've gotten so good at fine that no one sees behind it. You're so strong you always have it together. And it lands like a door quietly closing, because now you can't fall apart without disappointing them. Here's the painful cost. Your competence made you invisible. The very strength people admire is the thing that keeps them from ever asking if you're okay. Number 9, you don't actually know what you want. There was no space for your wants. The household ran on everyone else's needs, so you stopped registering your own. What do I want? Was a question that never got asked of you, so you never learned to ask it of yourself. Now someone asks, where do you want to eat? What do you want to do? What do you want? And you go blank. You can read what everyone else wants in a heartbeat, but your own wants are a locked room. You default to, I don't mind, whatever you want. Not to be polite, but because the honest answer genuinely isn't there. And that's the quiet cost. You spent so many years tracking everyone else that you lost the signal of yourself. You can find anyone, except you. Number 10, you feel older than everyone, and a little alone in it. You skipped a part of childhood. While other kids were careless, you were careful. You were the adult in the room before you were old enough to drive. Now you feel it with people your own age. Like you've always been a little ahead, a little tired, a little more responsible than the moment requires. You've been the grown-up so long, you forgot you were ever supposed to be anything else. You were given advice at 16, the steady one in every group, and somewhere in there, the carefree version of you never quite got to exist. And underneath it all is a grief most parentified people never name. A grief for the childhood you quietly handed back so that everyone else could keep theirs. If you saw yourself in these, I want you to hear something clearly. None of this means you're broken. Every one of these habits was once an act of survival. You became competent because competence kept you safe. But survival and living aren't the same thing. The competence that saved you as a child can quietly run your whole adult life until you notice it. And noticing is where it starts to loosen its grip. You're allowed to put some of the weight down now. You're allowed to be cared for, to rest, to need things, to not have it all handled, not because you've earned it, but because you always deserved it. It can start small. Letting one person carry one thing, asking for help once without apologizing for it, sitting still for 10 minutes you didn't have to earn first. Here at Inner Lens, this is what we do. We look underneath the habits to find the child who learned them, and we give that child a little more understanding than they got the first time. If part of you is now wondering where these patterns came from, the next video looks at the parent behind them. The quiet signs you were raised by someone who was never quite emotionally grown up themselves. It's right here. I'll see you in it.